and one-on-one peskiness provided Curry with a different bothersome look. Schroeder was an elite mix with the Vandalorian in terms of making everything tough on the chef, but Laker Nation, if you have to give credit to one man after this brilliant performance to open up the Western Conference semifinals, it's Mr. Vanderbilt. It was an off night shooting the basketball from Steph in general, as he made just 10 of his 24 shots overall, but it was a drastically more tough of a night for him when he was specifically guarded by Vanderclamps. When guarded by Vanderbilt, Steph shot just 2 for 10 from the field, 1 of 5 from deep, equating to an insane 92% contested shooting clip from Jarrett. Out to score LeBron, not to mention himself, some legacy points in his climb to the top as one of the best wing and perimeter defenders on the planet, this merely turned 24-year-old phenom of a clamp artist out of the University of Kentucky made a statement to the NBA universe about how annoying yet intelligent his perimeter defense can be. Aside from a possession down the stretch which is coming up, the Lakers mostly played regular one-on-one defense throughout this one, aside from the occasional trap, in addition to regular drop coverage in pick and rolls. The drop coverage I thought wouldn't have any chance in my LeBron and Steph preview for this one, but kudos to Darvin for going with it anyway, which seemed to shock Curry. Meanwhile, not only was Dennis Schroeder amazing with his defense on Steph, but the menace lived up to his nickname offensively as well. The man's aggressive quicks were tough for the Warrior guards to handle, as Dennis was showing off his overwhelming first step to get to the line and generally downhill. But maybe the story of this series, the leadership from Bronny Sr., outdoing Steph for the first time Curry's been outdone by an opposing top player in the leadership department in a long time. This may have been shell-shocking for Curry to see his fellow top player not just outclass him in terms of leadership, but be the most dominant player on both ends of the court. Now, you're going to respond with D-Flow, but Steph scored 5 more points than him, and James was also inefficient, in fact, even less efficient than Steph in this one. But listen, while LeBron Raymond James Sr. did only have 22, this man doesn't have quiet 20-plus point games. If anything, he makes them seem like 40-plus point games. Aside from down the stretch, it was a quiet 27 for Steph, and maybe the loudest 22-point night from James of his entire career. Whether it was the King's poised body language, his aggressiveness to be willing to attack the restricted area, to embrace contact, this man inflicts his will on the game with his combination of stature and ball handling by itself. Terrifying part is, that's only one part of the equation for James, because if there's one thing about LeBron that went completely under-talked about either in my series preview or previous Laker uploads from the entirety of the second half of the season and first round, ever since their trade deadline acquisitions of course, it was his ferociously intimidating prime Miami Heat, Cleveland Cavalier-esque athletic intensity on defense. His hops from the higher powers and 7-foot wingspan, paired with his hand-eye coordination and wanting it more than you type desire to track down every bit of rim penetration or any slasher around the bucket in general, is a nightmarish 1-2 punch for attackers. LeBron's funneling of perimeter attackers mixed with the top shot blocking inside that AD of course already provides, combined to give the Lakers 7 blocked shots in Game 1, and while it's of course a long series, that type of effort on defense may end up being overwhelming for a Draymond fanboy of LeBron-infused Warrior locker room. As many people say, the NBA is just better